Hello everyone, and welcome to day 6 of our California trip. Today we'll do something slightly different. It's a relatively short leg today. We'll be flying towards Trinity Lake to Trinity Center Airport. There's no navigation aids for Trinity Center Airport. It's very remote and there's no chart. So I thought it would be fun, instead of just doing a straight shot with the GPS, I thought it would be fun doing something a little bit different. Now, first of all, let me make this a little bit quieter by closing the door. The plane is already configured, it's already ready to taxi. As I said, there's no need to enter a plan for today, so there was no point in showing you all the preparation. You have that in the previous videos, and as usual, as I say, if you want have a look at the cold and dark, let's call it cold and dark, have a look at video 1 and 2 particularly. I always put it in the description of the video on YouTube, but it's important to note that I'm not a real world pilot. I have absolutely no flying experience at all whatsoever. I'm only playing around with X-Plane 11, so whatever you see here, if you're planning in the future to fly, forget it as soon as you've seen it, and just rely to the information that you're given by your instructors and etc. I literally figure out everything as I go and explain. So it's just to have a little bit of fun. Now today, as I said, we won't be using the GPS. I've just put the final destination there just to see the distance, as it will be not visual until the very last second. We're flying into a lake, so the terrain there is quite dramatic there. Now what I was thinking of doing, to actually do a sort of a cross-country style flying. I'm pretty certain in a TBM, in such a high performance plane, you would never have to do this. This is more for your smaller Pipers and Cessnas and etc. But I thought it would be fun to just add a new element to the way we navigate today. So I've plotted a very easy navlog. I don't know if it's going to work because I haven't calculated it with real world weather. I haven't plotted it myself. It's all done through SkyVector automatically. So I literally traced a straight line between the 2 points, decided my waypoints on the way, just traced them, and then decided the speed, the altitude, pressed navlog, and it generates everything. So we'll see now if that works. Really, we'll take it up and fly. If you hear me saying this, it probably means it went well, because I did end up releasing the video. Otherwise, you won't see this. So let's see what happens. Now, first of all, the first leg. Well, I don't know if everybody has experience on these navlogs, but if somebody wants to try and do this, I ask forgiveness of those who well know, probably most of you well know how this works, but just very quickly to explain those who don't how to recreate this. You can go on SkyVector online, which I'm pretty sure most of us use and are familiar with, and plot a course. So you enter your departure and your destination. After that, you get generated, so you press enter, you get a magenta line from point A to B, generated in a straight line. You can then go onto this line and left click with your mouse in any point of the line and just drag it around. So the idea of this kind of navlog is that you want to create points between 20 and 30 miles from each other, not too short and not too long, for accuracy. And then drag the line and you drop it on a feature that you know you're going to recognize from up there, from when flying, whether it's a big lake with a very specific shape, or a town with, in this case there's a town with an airport north, an airport west. So it should be very easy to recognize. Here there's another airport with a small town. Here there's a very large town with a very large airport. So it should be all very easily recognizable. When you click left and you drag it and you drop it on top of the point, it will ask you to select which point. It could be anything in the vicinity, so it could be a VOR, it could be a town, it could be an airport, and you just need to click on the plan button that will appear on the left of the point where you want to go. So here I put Chico, the town, while here I selected the airport. Once you do that, well, you're all done really. You just need to select the speed that you will be flying at and the altitude, and then click Navlog. The Navlog will be automatically generated. Here the information you have is the points that you traced, user fix, is the city. It doesn't recognize the city, but it tells you user fix because it's not a navigational aid like airport can be. And then it generates as well the top of climb. So here it does all these corrections. It knows the wind, the temperature, and the speed, the true airspeed here. And then it does the deviations based on wind, based on magnetic deviation, and it tells you the course. So the magnetic heading here is the course that you need to follow. It tells you at what ground speed to be following that, and we'll have it here on the MFD, so we can follow that. The distance and the estimated time in here is 6.1 minutes, so 6 minutes and 6 seconds. And then you just, when you depart, you just put yourself on that heading at that speed exactly, start the timer, and after, well, pretty much exactly this time, you should be on top of your point. But we'll do that now together. Let's get started. As I said, I think we're ready to taxi. We should have put everything on. Pressure separator, aircon. There, it's all good to go. Taxi light is already on. Perfect. Remove the chocks. Everything is in the green. The landing elevation is actually wrong. Not taking it, so just quickly put that. System manual landing field elevation. We are flying to KO86, no, 68. Oh, 6, yeah. The G1000 recognizes it only as KO, so Kilo Oscar 86, while on the maps is only Oscar 86. So 2390, 2400 landing field elevation. There we go, 2400 is set. That's again important for pressurization. Perfect, let's release the brakes. And start taxiing. We are on real weather today. Otherwise the navlog will not work. Of course, because it's considering Sky Vector picks up the real weather, real time, so you need to make sure that you have real-time weather injected. Now, so we need to, something we were not doing, which is check the QNH. 1008. And we can change that there. Just double check as usual that the altitude matches. 191. Here we're 180. That's good. Next thing, select the altitude we'll be flying at, which is 10,000 feet. We'll still be using the autopilot, especially because of the controls and next plane and the TBM itself is not very easy, it's not very accurate and fly. I mean, not in this plane for certain. So the first heading will be over here for the first leg, 314. We can set that on the heading bug. We still press the Toga button, making sure that this is as usual. Take off, flight director and take off. There we are. Hold short of the runway for a second. We'll put the P30 on. Flaps down to take off. Check the trims are okay. As usual, we check the amps below 50, so we're good to go. Volts is okay, so the batteries are charging, they're in green. Everything else is in the green, every single value is in the green, apart from the prop RPM. Throttle up for that. Landing field elevation is correct. We have the autopilot set to take off, flight director take off, 10,000 feet there, heading of 314, and the QNH is checked. So we're all good. Good to go. We put landing lights on. Everything else looks okay. Perfect. Let's get going. There we go. We're all lined up. A little bit of crosswind, but it's only 3. Well, according to Sky Vector, let's see what it is in reality. Yeah, wind not that is. Yeah, wind 07 at 8. So while in reality we wouldn't be departing from this runway, we do just because it makes it makes the flight a little quicker, as we'll be departing pretty much on the heading that we need. We are at runway 31 and at 314. It just makes the video a little. There we are. Bring up the torque as usual. Let the prop RPM rises to around 2000 in the green area. Throttle up. Release the parking brake. Release the brake. Off we go. Feel that crosswind. For 90 as usual. And there we go. Rotate up onto the flight directors. Gear up. Let's start the timer straight away. There we go. Go and look for that 314. Activate the heading, vertical speed as you get down a little to 1300. Get onto the flight directory if you activate pilot, and then autopilot on. Above 115, retract the flaps. And there we are, heading, vertical speed 314, and we'll try and maintain that speed that we planned. So ground speed 164, try and keep that and increase the rate of climb. Maintain this. For the first leg, we'll be flying 6 minutes and 6 seconds. and we will be looking for this town of Chico. Difficult to look out now as we climb it. We'll be getting up. Turn the inertia separator off and then landing. Of course, here you have your map and your GPS navigation and everything, but we'll try not to use it, just to look outside. Can see an airport now. There we are. The airport might be the large airport that is just north of Chico. We're a bit faster than Sky Vector thought we would be. Of course, we're a lot more performant than your average cross-country plane. But once we're in cruise, we should be okay. Jump and bleed off a little bit of that speed and try get there as quick as possible. Of course, cross-country makes made a lot easier by your external views. You can do that as well. We're looking for this town. Large airport north, small airport to the west, and here we have the town of Chico, the large airport to the, and we have this small airstrip. Where is it? There we go. The small airport to the left. It's not even one. Because needless to say, having Ortho sceneries really helps in doing this kind of flight. The next heading will be 307. Let's wait until we're on top of the town. Should have been 6 minutes. 5 minutes 45 seconds. Be seeing the airfield straight to our left. We trace the point here. Right, I beamed the smaller airfield there. We are now. It's now 6 minutes and 6 seconds, which is quite lucky. That's exactly what we plotted. So let's straight reset the timer. Turn for 307 and try and match the speed. We're doing now 245. Do make sure that you keep attention. You've seen how much speed I bled off while I was looking outside on the external views. it keeps you on your toes. Not having an auto throttle and having the variations due to altitude in torque and due to inertia separator going off and everything, it really does keep you on your toes. So on your toes, just keep scanning your instrument, and that's what I like as well about the TBM. Whenever I feel like not getting bored, I fly the TBM. It keeps you definitely busy. I did not start the timer, you see. Chatting, well, we'll add an extra 30 seconds. We're now doing 233 knots. We can increase the speed a little bit. Second point we're heading for is smaller town of Red Bluff. Yeah, Red Bluff, and the airport is next to the town. There is as well a large river in the area, but it's not very easy to follow the contour of the river. This map. I think it's this one away. As long as we keep it to our left, we are not at this point yet. Two, 4, 3. We're doing 245, so we're good, close enough. 7.6 minutes. 7 minutes and 36 seconds. For us, it will be just 7 minutes. For those, well, round about 30 seconds. That is one hot looking airport. Looks like an exceptionally wide runway. Wow, that's weird. Yeah, that's what we see the river doing on the map. Turns right, then turns back on its own before a sharp bend. The sharp bend here on the right, and that's that bend over there. So we're aiming for that. That sharp bend should be where the town is. I think we can see already something there. There we are. Yeah, that's Red Bluff. And that is the airport. The sky vectors seem to have gotten the wind corrections really good, really well. Now we can have a look at that as well. FD. Go on to wind. We do option 1, not option 2. And we can see the wind is coming from roundabout 240 at 6 knots. And here it was predicting 270 at 7 knots. So that's close enough. That's pretty close enough. Was it 7 minutes? And this time we're aiming for the actual airport rather than the town. It would be difficult to understand when we're right on top of the airport. And try and get something on this side. In this case we have the river bend. There's a little straight line next to the town before it bends back. Yes, we'll try and look out the window and see, have a look at the river. Next heading will be 339. This kind of flying is a lot of fun to do, especially in small aircraft like a Piper or a Cessna. You're flying just 4,000 or 5,000 feet above the ground if you have some ortho scenery. It's great fun. There we are, round about where we should be. A few more seconds, roughly here. And we turn for 339. Time is coming up to 7 minutes now, so that's good. So let's stop that now. We can turn now for 339 and start the timer again. It did start this time, so good. Now we should be flying for 5.2, so 5 minutes and 12 seconds. And the next point is Reading Airport. Just at the edge of the city. You can actually already see the airport. That's the town, city of Reading, and that is the airport. Of course, in areas with high density of different airports, always be careful with identifying, making sure that it's the right one. In this case, you can see the runway running north and the one crossing, heading on 30. We can see that one straight north, and this one crossing. Well, it's possible to be mistaken here. You have a big town, top of the, at the bottom of the foothills of the mountains here. We're good. Speed 246. Should be doing 248. So we're perfect. Keep checking, of course, all the values, making sure that your ITT correct, oil pressure, all the electrical. Everything is good. So in terms of approach, as we said, there's no procedures at all. It's a very remote, small airport. Absolutely nothing. So what we're gonna do is very high terrain around the lake. So we couldn't get here in any way. The runway runs this way. Cannot land from the north. Only run from this side. You cannot descend here as 5,330 feet, and here is 2,000. Whatever we said, 2,300. So you have 3,000 feet to lose in, well, 5 miles, which, needless to say, is not possible. The only way I was thinking of doing this is just cross the mountains here, go down to the lake and descending all the way down to the... Yeah, in our case it will help us maybe to keep this open. We know the distance from the actual airport, so we can calculate the best descent. Overall, in total, we need to lose around 7,500 feet. So technically at 23 miles from the airport, we should be on a 3 degrees angle of descent. There we are, nearly on top of the airport. And we can see it from the window. The next waypoint, need to turn 295. Now, top of the airport, it's 5 minutes and 4 seconds. Should have been 5 minutes and 12 seconds, so it's perfect. Reset. 295, I believe. Yeah, 295. Reset and start the timer. At this point we have that leg, which should be one single leg, but it gets broken into top of descent as well. Need to be careful here with the descent because there's high mountain, high terrain. Make our life a little easier. We start descending in a while. Just above this altitude, this is the highest peak, 4,905. Descend around 5,500. And then as soon as we cross the mountains, we start descending again. By then we'll know what distance we are from the airport, so now we should be descending. We'll be only at 2,200 feet above the airport, so we'll need only 7-8 miles to finish the descent. We have the distance from the airport here as well, so that's good. As much situational awareness as we can. Calculating 2 minutes to the top of descent. Just a little longer because I guess it was taken into mountains. To lose 4,500 feet. around 13, 14 minutes. Total distance here, this leg was 8 miles plus 19, 28 miles. We need half of that to descend. And the total time was 6.3 minutes. 3 minutes we can start our descent. We are now there. Let's select the altitude. Set 5,500 feet to stay clear of the mountain. And we can start the vertical speed descent. See the speed? It's not really important here. We don't necessarily need to follow the navlog anymore because we have a very big lake, very recognizable feature ahead of us. Sure, we'll be okay without timing it precisely. Trying to start to slow down a little bit, bleed off that speed so we can descend nicely. After that, we can keep it around 2. For a 3%, 3 degrees path. 5 times this, 1,200 feet per minute. There we go, we can start seeing the lake ahead of us. That's a much greener part of California here. Really changed suddenly after all that desert. This beautiful mountain up here. I was really tempted to go, when looking at the charts, to go and fly around it, but then I thought the series is long enough as it is. It's an idea for a quick day tour if you have the time. Because you can see here that this helps that we're not going to hit the top of the mountain. We're a good profile. So there is, as soon as we're here, we can start following the lake. Let's check the altimeter before we get too close to the mountains or to the airport. The 1014. There we are. We are now 13 miles from the airport. Let's dial down the altitude where we need it to be, 1,300. Need to lose 3,000 feet. Need 9 miles to do that. We have 12, so that's good. Keep descending this. We can do this last part manually. And connect the autopilot, keep the yaw damper on. We'll turn that off later. Try and keep this speed and this rate of descent. Be difficult to look around, but we're high enough that we necessarily need on the left precisely. But let's start our turn. I find personally even the trim of the TBM very difficult. Just one click. On the 737, see any effect, I need to hold the button for seconds, while here just one single click changes vertical speed by 300-400 feet per minute. Not fair. Do our best. Start slowing down. 7 miles, I think it's better probably to slow down now. Down that gear, first notch of flaps. Seems to be quite hidden, the airport. So gear down, let's not forget
Terrain ahead.
separator.
Terrain ahead.
And the landing light.
Terrain ahead.
Oh, she will
Terrain
shout
ahead.
at us, so let's try without crashing.
Terrain ahead. Terrain ahead.
In a bit. Yeah, the warnings. We could have done that a little earlier. Okay, 1,000 feet to lose. We're 4.8 miles. Inertia separator is now on, so good, the throttle is stable. It's so sensitive, I'm literally moving my joystick a millimeter or two at a time. How reactive it is. Let's go down and final approach. Put down the flaps to full. 1,000 feet. Now 3 miles, so we start descending. Doing 140 knots times 5. That's 700 feet per minute. Last notch of flaps. I maintain 9 knots. Should be the same. Per minute. There's the runway. $600 feet to lose, 1.8 miles. Sounds good. Go down a little. The runway is a bit of a mess there. I don't know if it's the scenery. I don't think I have an add-on scenery there. Just probably the terrain. There's a big ramp at the beginning, so we cannot really land in the first part of the runway. Oh yes, your damper must be off.
Airspeed.
Here I'm not really going for finesse with so little runway to spare. You just put it down. There we go. That's it. So welcome to Trinity Center Airport. Made it in one piece. Perfect. After landing, heat goes off. Landing light to taxi, strobe light off. Careful with the speed here, taxiing is sloping down quite a lot. Flaps come back up. I think after something like 12, 13 years of honorable service, my Thrustmaster joystick is about to give up. Certain inputs don't seem to work that well. But it's very exciting that the Airbus side stick has come out, so I guess will have to do an early Christmas present to myself and pre-order that. Go and park here. There we go. Parking brake is on. Inertia separator off. Aircon and bleeds off. Taxi lights off and put down to low idle. Leave it there. Stabilize. Around 15 seconds. And then we can turn it off. There we go. So last few checks. Autopilot trims off. Fuel selector to manual. Fuel pump off. Oxygen off. All lights are off. And the crash bar is down. I do want to have a quick look at the landing replay because that was quite hairy. Let's see what happened there. SAS coming, relatively stable. That wasn't too bad, not the smoothest. Definitely not a batter, it wasn't too bad. Good enough. Thank you very much, guys, for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this slight variation to navigation we've done today. For the next leg, we'll be on our second to last leg, and we will head west to the ocean. So we will head down to Shelter Cove Airport before the last leg, which I'm really excited about. The last leg will be the longest of the journey. Will be around 200 miles at least, I believe. But we will fly along the coast down south, and then we will do a low pass on the Golden Gate Bridge and get into the San Francisco Bay, and then turn around behind the San Francisco International Airport, and then come down to Half Moon Bay, a really stunning airport on the coast. And so I hope I'll see you there. And for now, thank you very much again for watching, guys. Bye now.